afternoon to you, and you're welcome here to Parnell Park in Donecarney in Dublin, of course, for the home clash for Dublin up against Kilkenny. It's, of course, the Leinster rivals, two teams that know each other so well, and have only met, obviously, recently in the provincial campaign in a big game for both sides. Of course, Dublin coming back from their bye in round two, looking to build on, I suppose, what they did against Galway. Won't be overly happy that it took them so long to score in the second half, and that ultimately was to cost them getting a point or points ultimately against the Tribes women. But Dublin looking to bounce into that, whereas Kilkenny are looking to bounce back from that defeat at home to Waterford, a game that they didn't hit the treads too quickly, and then subsequently were to chase a lead that ultimately they weren't able to chase down quick enough. Tommy Shefflin will be hoping that his forwards will be able to contribute a lot more from play this time out in order to secure the victory. It means probably a little bit more to Kilkenny that they get the points here today, because then they're at home to Galway on the final weekend, whereas Dublin have a little bit more game opportunity in hand. However, you put down a marker here today and you're probably guaranteeing yourself a quarter-final spot. So it's all to come here on our live coverage of Dublin and Kilkenny. It all follows shortly here in the Glen Dimplex Senior Camogie Championship. It's Group 2, Round 3. Man, you see on camera Tommy Shefflin. Tommy, from a Kilkenny point of view, looking to bounce back obviously from that defeat at home to Waterford.
Yeah, it is. Last Saturday it was a disappointing day for us all, but sure, listen, these things happen. So the big thing for us during the week was to get the girls back up again and come up here now, and it's a must-win game for us. So
disappointing probably point from you is that the lack of scores that you got from play. So I'm sure, was that a focus in training during the week?
Yeah, we spoke about that. Like the week before, we went up to Derry and got 320 from play, and then to come last week and get three points in play. So there's a huge difference there. So no, that's something that, again, probably the last day we drove a lot of wides, dropped balls short, so it's decision making as well and poor shooting. So we spoke about that. But listen, as I said, that's kind of all on the day. Things didn't work our way the last day, and in fairness to Waterford, were way better than us, and we just took that in the chin and just got ourselves ready for today.
Dublin obviously had a bye. They probably don't have as much on this game as you do. There's a little bit more pressure on your girls.
Well, I suppose they're in the same boat, because like they've been beaten already, and so we. So I said it already, that whichever team in this group loses 2 games is going to struggle. You're going to be dependent on other results and scoring difference. So we want to keep it in our own hands. So today, and they're the same, like they have to win as well today, like to keep it in their own hands rather than waiting on what other teams are doing and that. So we have to win today then, and then we have to go play Galway in 2 weeks' time. So as I said, we want to keep it in our own hands, whatever hope we have.
Dublin manager Jerry McQuaid. Jerry, we're here, back after the bye. That probably gave you an opportunity, did it, to react after everything that went on with Galway, and probably a game that was there for the taking a little bit?
Was it probably disappointed? Like the weather didn't help, but I suppose we went first half within level and kind of went back to old habits in the second half. So hopefully now today we can rectify that and put 2 halves together. So we'll see. It's going to be a tough game, and under no illusion. It's Kilkenny. It's probably winner takes all. We play Waterford now in 2 weeks, so we'll see. So we're up for it,
Yeah, it's probably a case. I said, I don't know whether the bye has worked for you or will work against you. You probably only know at around half 4 there.
Exactly. But again, it gives girls that are coming back from some sort of injuries and knocks to get back. But again, as you say, we'll not know for another hour and a half. So hopefully now it'll work in our favour.
And for this crew, again, the opportunity of getting to the knockout stage is very important in the continued development, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. Like, listen, we got to the quarterfinals, we beat Kilkenny in a quarterfinal, got to a semi. That's where we're aiming to get back to a quarterfinal. We can't get back to a quarterfinal, let's win today. So we'll see. Hopefully now, all going well. We'll perform. All we need is a performance. I think on any given day, the progression will tell you Dublin can beat anybody. And even if they perform 2 halves, we need to perform over 2 halves.
We should have best luck, Jerry.
Thanks, man. Take care.
And a very good afternoon to you, and welcome to Parnell Park for the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Group 2 Round 3 encounter. And it is, of course, between Leinster rivals Dublin and Kilkenny, two sides that know each other so well, and a game that you probably could classify as a must-win. So both teams have changes, and we'll get through those quickly now before we get into the action, starting with Dublin. Emer Hurley of Coola is in goal. It's Abby Ryan of Crumlin, Emma O'Byrne of St Vincent's, and Hannah Liddy of Ballyboden St Enda's. Claire Gannon of St Jude's will wear the number 5 shirt. And then I suppose the big news is that Aisling Marr has picked up an injury during the week and will not be lining out. She's been replaced by number 25 Kerry Finnegan, and Christine Shanahan will wear the number 7 shirt out on the left side. At centre field then it's Gabby Couch, and she has also got a new partner there. Sibel Sherry will be coming in wearing number 18 in place of Jennifer Moore. Then into the forwards, and they're all the same. Niamh Gannon will wear 10, Sinead Wilde will be on the 40, and Aoife McCartney will be on the left wing. And then in the full forward line it's the two Ashlings, O'Neill and Gannon of Castleknock and St Jude's, and then Grace O'Shea of Ballantyre St John's. Kilkenny coming in here off the back, of course, of that defeat against Waterford at home the last day, have announced 3 changes in their team, 1 in the backs, 2 in the forwards. Begins with Aoife Norris of Piltown in goal. Michelle Tehan, of course, well versed in the setup, she comes in from James Stevens, replace Ava Brett of St Bridget's. Tiffany Fitzgerald Young Ireland's and Ciara Phelan of Dixborough. In the half back line then it's Niamh Deely, Katie Power and Caoimhe Dowling of James Stevens, Piltown and Dixborough respectively. Dixborough represented at centre field with Eva O'Gorman and Laura Green. And then into the forwards there's 2 changes. Mary O'Connell will wear 10 of Clara. O'Loughlin Gales represented with Laura Murphy wearing 11, and her free taking ability could be key today. And coming in replacing Caoimhe Clare Murta is Sophie Holden wearing number 20, Sophie of course of Piltown. And in the full forward line then number 21 Sarah Barker of Thomastown started against Derry. Comes in today in place of Katie Nolan of St Martin's, and Aoife Prendergast at Dixborough at 14, and Steffi Fitzgerald of Young Ireland's wearing 15. Man in the middle is Donncha Callan of Limerick, and the toss and everything just being done there among the captains. Katie Power, of course, the Kilkenny captain. She on the left hand side there as you look down at action at the minute, and of course it's Claire Gannon then doing the representation there at the minute, or Niamh Gannon I should say, doing the representation in the middle of the field for Dublin. So getting ready in a minute. Brian Brophy is with me on commentary. Brian, must win game?
Yeah, I think so. I think a definite must win game for both teams, Killian.
These are two sides, obviously, we're looking at a situation that last year, Kilkenny will have a little bit of hurt from that All-Ireland quarter-final loss to Dublin. I would imagine now they've played each other obviously since, and they've played each other at club action and everything like that, but it still carries a little bit. I'm sure it was reminded in the dressing room before the match, wasn't it?
I'd imagine it was, because throughout the country it was a shock. Maybe not a shock to the Dublin players, but it was certainly a shock, I think, to the camogie world in general, that Kilkenny would have been expected to go through. And this effectively nearly is the same situation here today in Parnell Park. It's more or less, I think whoever loses this, they're not out, but they've 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, well, as Tommy Shefflin, as you heard there in the interview he gave us before the game, he was saying that any team that loses 2 matches, they're relying on others. And when you consider Kilkenny have only got 1 game after this, whereas Dublin have 2, you're talking about that last weekend. Kilkenny are sitting idle, hoping then if they lose today that others will do them favours. Yeah,
and the last thing you want is for it to be out of your hands. Yeah. You want it in your hands, so they have that chance here today.
Looking at it, is it even enough, Brian? Could this come down to a puck of a ball?
It is. I was very disappointed. I was at the Kilkenny game last week against Waterford, and I think it's a long time since the Kilkenny team only scored 3 points in play. I was disappointed with them. Dublin were sitting idle after their game in Galway. So, yeah, to me, this is very 50-50. Before the ball is thrown in anyway. Well,
we'll see how it goes. Of course, Dublin lost the first day against Galway 15 points to 1-6, and having played with the wind in the second half, it took until the 50th minute before they scored that they had a bye the last day. And then obviously Kilkenny shot the lights out against Derry away 326-9, and then they lost to Waterford by 17 points to 10 the last day. We pause here at Parnell Park for a moment's silence. on Naveen now here at Parnell Park for this Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. There you have it, we're on Naveen as we get ready to throw the ball in here and get up and running. It looks like teams are lining out in the positions that they warmed up. So Kilkenny will be defending the Donecarney goal, and then the Collins Avenue end is Dublin's to look at. So the breeze kind of across the pitch. It darkened down here a little bit. We had a little bit of rain there just in for 30-40 seconds, and now it's gone off again, and there's a little bit of sun trying to break through overhead. But Donegal Callan just waiting to get the nod from officials over here. Some cones left behind here just on the line, and getting ready to clear the pitch of those. Players already encroaching, following in Donegal Callan, and ball is breaking off here from a Kilkenny foot, but it's a Dublin player that gets in there, Claire Gannon, and winning it, but eventually out of the ruck it falls and favours Cueva Dowling. Cueva hearing a shout down the far end, but I think it was a fall there for Katie Power. Looks like she's operating now in the forwards, so it might have number 6 on her back, but a bit of position switches and loose hand pass there coming from Shabelle Sherry. Dublin though have done well to recover it, and I think that little bit of fall of rain, Brian, just caused a couple of players to lose their footing. We're up and running here though, and that could make it a little bit tricky. Nice blade of grass on Parnell Park. Suffered of course a little bit of damage to the pitch a few months back, and is slowly but surely recovering. Grass probably a little bit heavier than you probably would want it at championship, but of course it's going to be hard to cut it all when you consider that the grass is recovering. But anyway, we're focused on the play. An opportunity, early shot from Gabby Couch. She put the ball over the bar. She has, and you'd have to say, Brian, credit there from the play that obviously Dublin brought it down this left hand side, eventually transferred, and just on top of the football arc, Gabby was able to get that shot off. Yeah,
Christine Shanahan came forward with the ball, worked it out, and Gabby coming off the shoulder in midfield and over the bar. Yeah, she was in a nice spot there. It's an opening score here, and Dublin full of running, and it's one of the Gannons, of course. That's Niamh that brings it down this side of the field, trying to get it into the direction of Kerry Finnegan. Kerry in on the team, and also Shabelle Sherry. No Ashley Marr having picked up an injury during the week, so that might be considered a little bit of a loss. But Dublin have the opening score here then, as they attack the Donecarney end here, and they have a sideline cut here. So waiting for the sideline cut then to come from Gannon. Knocks it inside, touch there by Kerry Finnegan, ball back out, but it's Kilkenny trying to go down over it there. Niamh Deely. Niamh just fell down on her backside there, and eventually able to get it up, but Dublin swarmed there in numbers, and plenty of Dublin players around Kilkenny support. A bit slow to come and help out Deely, but eventually it's moved out there and then lost again. It's a little bit of 6 and 7's hot potato nearly going on here now, as Dublin try to get this ball towards their number 5 Claire Gannon, but it's taken on here now by Steffi Fitzgerald. Steffi has an advantage, goes to have a shot into the Collins Avenue, and it's gone out to the right and wide, but Donegal O'Callaghan was giving us the benefit of advantage and not in the crude. So I'd imagine Aoife Prendergast or Laura Murphy is going to come out to this. So Aoife is the one that's taken charge of it. Laura had 5 frees out of 9 points that she got against Derry, and she had 7 frees out of 8 points that she got against Waterford. Only 3 overall scores coming from play the last day, and here's a place ball that Aoife Prendergast will stand over. Didn't score against Waterford, got 2 against Derry, and we all know the abilities of the Dixborough lady.
So she's in a similar position to what Gabby Couch got the ball over the bar from play. So the 40-metre arc, as you know from the football game, right in the middle of the pitch here, should suit her. And she knocks the ball over the bar. So opening score. Good bit of pressure there, Brian, from Kilkenny.
Yeah, it was like the hot potato, as you said, Killian. Nobody could seem to get the ball to hand, but eventually Steffi did, and she was fouled. Interesting. Prendergast excellent on the freeze, as we know, but Laura Murphy was flawless the last day. Hit every one of them. So, but they're spoiled choice for free takers.
Yeah, we spoiled for choices, right, as we look at the action over on the far side. Sparsely enough attended. Still making the appeal to the public to come out and watch this game. Such was the rancour and everything a few weeks ago. I just wish people would come out and support these girls and everything that they're doing, representing their counties. Don't forget, action already underway between Clare and Limerick. We'll update you on that one. That's an important game. Limerick they got the win against Wexford. Clare were idle last week, having lost the course, having won a course against Wexford. So Wexford now facing a bit of an uphill battle, but that Clare Limerick game that could decide that third place in that group. And that's on at 2 o'clock. At 4 o'clock it's Waterford and Derry, and it's Wexford and Tipperary. So Tip know they need to beat Wexford to get back in, and Wexford know they need to get a win against Tipperary at home if they're to have any hope of that third place in the group. So that game between Clare and Limerick, an interesting one. We'll be keeping an eye on it. But here at the minute, this one is, of course, a tight one. Dublin having the bye last week. Looking to get back into action here now. Ball is in the hand of Aisling Gannon. Long range effort. It's high and handsome and over the bar. She could have brought it on a few 10, I'd say even 20 yards, Brian, but she fancied her option and she went for it. And it's a good score. And it's one for Couch, one for Gannon.
Yeah, excellent score. Aisling Gannon wearing 14, but dropped out towards the middle of the park. Took a ball, went forward, over the bar.
Good score then from, as we said, the Couches and the Gannons, well represented within this panel, of course. So, both of them on the board here now with Sinead Wilde of Coola gets that ball inside it. Just unfortunate with maybe the direction there, Brian, because there was an opportunity inside there, it looks like, for Grace O'Shea.
Yeah, she made the run, but the ball was delivered where she just left.
Power on this ball now, wearing 6, but up in the forwards. Having it out here now to Mary O'Connell. Mary steps inside and an opportunity maybe to get forward. Sinead Sherry just struggling to get to grips with her. Ball is an opportunity for Kilkenny to get level, and that's a fine score that's put over the bar there by Sophie Holden. Full of running there.
Yeah, well, a well-worked score on the loop. Sophie Holden over the bar. Did well when she came on last week against Waterford, and obviously it's done her enough for her to start here today.
Point of
Kilkenny playing with the breeze.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to watch
First
it. I'm
half.
just looking at the flags and everything, Brian. It's, if it's diagonal, if it's anything, and might suit down into the Collins Avenue end here, alright, that might suit Kilkenny. A little bit of a loose pass there out from the keeper, and looks like the Dublin player down injured. Robust challenge there from Kilkenny.
Laura Green.
But not sure. Donegal Collins having a strong war. I don't know whether it does it merit a yellow card here.
No, I don't think so.
He's not happy with the challenge anyway. And
Sarah Barco.
Sarah Barco picks up a yellow card.
Yeah.
I think she's rather unfortunate, but
I think rather unfortunate. It was a dodgy ball out, I thought, She didn't see her coming and kind of turned towards her.
More than anything else.
But she's down receiving attention, so we'll wait and see. Niamh Gannon,
yeah. Won't be thanking Emer Hurley for the pass that she gave her, but
no, I think if they call it the hospital pass, it was one of them.
Referred to her, right? Premier Junior action also today, round 2, Roscommon and Laois. That's a repeat, of course, of the Division 3 league final. Armagh playing Loud, and Tyrone up against Wicklow. Armagh looking to build. Limerick already in the opening stages, 2 points to no score up against Clare, so putting down an early marker there. As he said, all those counties having a mini tournament within the tournament, of course, with Clare, Wexford and Limerick knowing that they're vying for that third place. So she's okay anyway, is Niamh Gannon, and she's up to take this free. Lost it a little bit, but managed to use her body well to get in underneath it, to get some distance on it. But it's Kilkenny that have turned it over, dropping the ball into the corner now. A bit of holding in there on Aoife Prendergast, and well spotted by Donegal Callan. Give him credit on that. He's 50-60 yards away, but he well spotted. But I have to say, we all spotted, Brian, that it was such a blatant pull of the jersey.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there was nearly 30 yards of space in front of Aisling Pender, and I think Christine Shannon thought it was the better thing to do, not let her around and in. I think the movement of Steffi Fitzgerald back out to the half-forward line from the inside line last week is a good move from Kilkenny. I think she's far better out there.
Straight in for Aoife Prendergast over the bar. So Kilkenny go into the lead, 3 points to 2 then, 8 minutes gone. And Dublin, for all their work now, find themselves just falling behind there. That looked like a charge, and I think it's going to be a free in. Yeah. So Abby Ryan was coming out with the ball, and Kilkenny player stepped in, and it's a chance for Aoife Prendergast. Aoife is the one that's been given the charge of these frees today.
Yeah, silly free from Abby, a certain just charged.
Yeah,
just trying to work it out against the breeze, Dublin, but I think they might have been better letting it off.
So Aoife Prendergast now chance to double the lead, goes high and handsome, and it's over the bar. Two on the bounce for Aoife. I was talking to her just before the game, thought we're getting her eye in. There's a bit of an off the field tussle here now. Kilkenny player down injured, but play is allowed to continue. Don't know if the linesman on this side saw it, but Aoife has no doubt she has the eye in. Brian 3 early score, but that's a bit of a high effort. But Donegal Collin happy that it wasn't deliberate. Hannah Lady just a little bit high there, but I think it was a bit of a slip from Katie Power probably as well, made it look worse than it was. No love lost between these two, Brian. They're laying down a few markers off the field of play as such as well.
I think familiarity breeds contempt is the saying.
That's it. The ball is diverted over the far side. Michelle Teen, well experienced Michelle, of course, looking to step inside, has a shout back there. And eventually to come across the line, living a bit dangerously, but eventually got it out here to Cueva Dowling. Cueva didn't really have a chance to look, but she knocks a nice ball down towards Prendergast, but it's knocked away from her, and it's also knocked away from Mary O'Connell. Dublin going back to try and get it, and it was Sherry there getting that ball up and giving it to Gannon. Gannon looks like, even though she's tending her back helping back, and it's a bit of a wild one, loose one over there, and Emer Hurley has had to come a long way out now to try and get out with this ball. Dublin got to be careful. The last time they charged out, to commit a foul on their own ball, knocking the ball inside one-handed wasn't a great one for Abby Ryan. Kilkenny are their numbers, but the referee said that there was draw ball, I think, over the top, and chance gone a big. And Dublin just living a bit dangerously at times there.
Living a bit dangerously. I know Claire Hurley plays full forward for Coola, played against her this year in the league, but I think a bit overplaying by the Dublin goalkeeper there, and that could have been disastrous.
So 4 points to 2 it is here, 2 points to 1 with Limerick and Clare. The 2 o'clock games, and then at 4 o'clock it's Waterford hosting Derry, and Wexford up against Tipperary. Derry, fortunately, they've had tough encounters now, and their reintroduction to senior camogie, as Dublin lose out on that ball again over there, and Kilkenny looking to get forward. Kilkenny, a bit more pep in their step, Brian, from what I would have seen and heard about last week in Nolan Park.
Yeah, I think in the warm-up, I heard Pat O'Neill say you're not in coppers. So, you know, he was geeing them up beforehand, and they're certainly coming out fired up. And you can see it. You know, they're attacking everything.
If anyone was going to say the line, it had to be Pat. There's no question about it. Some man for the quotes.
Yeah.
Aoife Prendergast anyway standing over this 62 metres out or thereabouts, about 10-12 in from the far line. This one now has to come across the wind a little bit, so this is a test of the ones that she's hit already. She has hit 3. Aoife gets it up nice and high, allowing the wind maybe to help her out a little bit of work, and the crowd like it over there. And the umpire's going for the flag. Aoife Prendergast.
4 from 4.
4 from 4, yeah. And we are clocking on the time there now at the minute of coming up on 13 minutes gone. All of a sudden Kilkenny just turning the screw here, Brian. You'd imagine trying to get in with a significant lead here at the break. as Dublin went down in that ball and looked like a bit of a challenge in on the Dublin wing back there, Christine Shannon, but Dublin have coughed it up. Kilkenny are going to have a shot off, and is it that O'Connell has put it over the bar, and just Dublin can't get outside their own half at this moment in time.
No, they can't get out. Niamh Deely has really come into it in the half back line here for Kilkenny. She started lording it. And again, as I mentioned the switch of Steffi Fitz, to me, half forward, I could never understand. She's in corner forward and she's been very influential in the half forward line. And again, they've worked the score well. Sophie Holden did well, popped it back and over the bar.
But they're pressuring the Dublin puck out, Brian. You know, when Dublin have got out here on the wings twice, they've got the score, but since, you know, in the last 5 minutes they've just been absolutely pinned in. The pressure is coming on that Dublin puck out.
It is, yeah, and they have the breeze, Kilkenny, and they're pushing up with it. They're squeezing Dublin and they're not letting them out.
So 6 points to 2 now is a significant enough lead when you consider that Dublin were the ones that got the opening score and then built on that with Aisling Gannon. So Dublin now need to arrest the situation that they currently find themselves in. Heads just a little bit stooped as Kilkenny look to be more in tune for this now, is Mary O'Connell getting that ball forward. Mary O'Connell and Laura Murphy linking up. Mary then dropping this ball inside. Dangerous ball. Keeper and wing corner back there got to make up their mind, and area is eventually cleared for Emer Hurley, and she gets a decent ball out here. A chance for Aoife McKerney to knock it into the middle, and she does. Probably the first decent bit of play we've seen from Dublin in the last couple of minutes. Sinead Wylno, Kula knocking the ball over to the far side, expecting the run, and it's looked like all over the back there of Grace O'Shea was Tiffany Fitzgerald. It's going to be a free in, and I have to credit Grace O'Shea. Used her body well there, Brian. Got in then, and then as soon as she felt a bit of weight, she was going to go down. You know, you'd be crediting your corner forward there.
Yeah, Aisling O'Neill did well. She got across Tiffy and she drew the free, and Dublin needed the first time they've been able to get out in the last few minutes. We see Aoife McCartney, who we would have expected.
McCarney's the one taking the frees, yeah?
Yeah, from Aisling Mar, yeah. But she normally hits the long range ones.
So just again to let you know, 18 and 25 in for Dublin. Sabelle Sherry and Kerry Finnegan in for Aisling Mar, and Jennifer Moore standing over this then. Aoife McCartney, and Dublin's first chance in a while, putting that ball high and handsome and over the bar. And Lucan Sarsfield's Aoife McCartney has a score here for Dublin, and makes it 6 points to 3, so double scores. Maybe we shouldn't be too hard on Dublin at the minute, because I think if they went in at half time just 3 points down, having played against the element somewhat, I'm sure Jerry McQuaid will be happy enough. Quick free going to be taken here by Sinead Weil, not hanging around, lobbing this ball in over the top now, but don't think expecting it there was Kerry Finnegan.
No, I think that's well within McCartney's range. I'm very surprised at that. I'd say the management would be saying leave it.
Ball is knocked out, and Murphy gets a good clearance on it, and it misses the Dublin player that was standing across Gannon. And here's now Power trying to get away from Leddy. Ball is on the deck, as we said to you. We noticed the position switches for Kilkenny with Katie Power operating in the forward. Steffi Fitzgerald moving out to wing forward, but that's a loose ball now from Dublin, and they need, you'd probably feel, Brian, you know, just for confidence, passes have to go to hand.
Yeah, passes have to go to hand. And
first wide of the game. Long ball that was knocked forward there by Sophie Holden, but it's towards Sophie Holden, goes out to the right and wide.
Yeah. She's after taking a knock there, Sophie Holden.
Looks like across the knuckle, is it? She's definitely grimacing there a little bit.
Like, one thing today for me, Killian, is the bench for Kilkenny is a lot stronger today. You know, you've got Cueva Murtiker, Kellyanne Doyle, and obviously Katie Nolan. All on the bench. It'll be interesting to see if they're introduced as the game goes along. Yeah,
it is a fair point, Brian, here as we watch the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Group 2 Round 3, probably the biggest humdinger game that we've had of the championship, because it's make or break for these teams. Essentially could be ruling themselves out, although they wouldn't be completely dead, but if you were to suffer, as Tommy Shefflin said to us before the game, a second loss, you're really then relying on others. And of course Kilkenny running out of games now. This is their third game. It's only Dublin's second, as Dublin have to say, Brian, I'm just a little bit concerned about their puck-out strategy.
And Abby slipped there. The drop of rain is making it hard.
And now here's a chance. It's going to be Prendergast 1-on-1 getting in and knocks it to the back of the net. Aoife Prendergast is having a game. That's a goal and 4 points for her in the opening quarter, 20 minutes or thereabouts. And that ball played inside. You said that the bit of rain on the grass is having an impact, not impacting too much on Kilkenny, but defensively Dublin are suffering that little bit with the conditions. And Prendergast, well, she's going to make you pay.
Well, again, it led from the puck out. Abby Ryan took it, but unfortunately she slipped, and then the space was left where she'd vacated, and in it goes. So I think that's at least 1-1 or 1-2 now. Dublin have conceded from their own puck out.
Yeah, their own puck out, and I think also, as you said there, the slip or a mistake. That's happened a couple of times now.
Yeah, I think they got to play the conditions, let it out.
Our ball is into the middle where it's, of course, Niamh Gannon is mopping up there and gets this ball across now, looking for O'Neill to get the gas on. She's taking on Tien. They're going to have a shot. That's a fine score. We're right behind it here. That's a lovely effort from Aisling O'Neill. She has that in the locker, Brian. We know that.
Yeah, Laura Murphy stood off her too far, and you can't stand off Aisling O'Neill that far. Beautiful score. Beautiful score from Aisling.
Good score there, and I suppose from a confidence point of view, Dublin rattling up a couple of scores, but that goal, probably a good response, Brian. They got a point. That ball right on the line there. Linesman was happy enough to continue to let it play. Aoife McKerney trying to get in there and win that ball. Prendergast has come all the way out after getting that goal. She's 1-4 of Kilkenny's 1-6 as this ball breaks out, and it's dug out there by Caoimhe Dowling. Back it goes to the player wearing 11.
Again.
That's Laura Murphy. Long ball inside, and again a slip by a Dublin player, and it's Power looking to step out round and have a shot. She gets it up good and high, and it's over the bar. And I'd say Dublin, you're going to have to look at their studs here, Brian. An awful lot of slipping and sliding in that back line.
Yeah, you threw it down my mouth, Killian. Obviously it's been a dry day up to throw in, but the drop of rain, we're seeing people falling over. I mean, the last two Kilkenny scores have come through Dublin defenders falling over. 1-7-4
points it instead. The Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. This is the Group 2 Round 3 encounter. Galway, Kilkenny, Waterford, Dublin and Derry involved in this group. Of course, Galway have the bye this weekend. It's Kilkenny playing Dublin, Waterford against Derry in this group. Keeping an eye on action then that is happening between Clare and Limerick, because that's as big a game as it is in this encounter. And just trying to get an update there. The latest we had was that it was 2-1 in Cusack Park in Ennis. A bit of rain, it's just coming and going. It's not a major shower or anything like that, as we have seen on the way up myself. There was a bit of a haymaker on the M50, but it's just, as he said, in passing here at the minute. But it is causing a bit of skatey surface, and that's causing, it seems, a problem for the Dublin defence at the minute. Another break in play here. Just update you on scores. Laois lead Roscommon 1-4-3. That's the only game we have an update on in the Premier Junior, and by our reckoning, we'll definitely try to check in with Cusack Park and Ennis, but after 19 minutes gone, it looks like it's still only 2 points to 1. 1-7-4 it is here then. Don't forget a weekend off next weekend for the Camogie Championship, and then back with a plethora of games then over the following 2 weekends to decide the quarter-finals, as this ball played down into the corner. And it's a good running again there from Aisling O'Neill. Got the last score for Dublin, getting the ball back out. It's flighted in, but it's only the second wide of the game, first wide for Dublin. And I think that was it Niamh Gannon fancying her chances there?
Aisling Gannon.
Aisling Gannon.
Yeah. Nobody ran with Aisling O'Neill though. She absolutely...
Laura Murphy pirouettes well out with that tackle and driving it forward. Laura in a different role today, dropping this ball in, Powers in underneath, but it's gone all the way, and it's amazing. We didn't have wides for the first 20 minutes, and we've had 3 in quick succession. Quick puck out taken by Dublin. Bit of a change in strategy out here towards Niamh Gannon. But the ball is turned over again, and the pass train to be gotten off, but the sky blue jerseys are there. It's a lot of play happening on the ground. Donncha O'Callaghan stepping off there and just keeping an eye on things, and Dublin have come out of it, and it's Niamh Gannon driving the ball down along the wing now, looking for a little bit of movement there, maybe out with Kerry Finnegan. Ball breaks loose, Finnegan is in there able to nip it off. Dublin player holding off a Kilkenny player there and getting Finnegan. Oh, lovely pass inside, opportunity, this will be something if it works out for Dublin. Fly shot, but it's great defensive play. I think it was Tien that came across there.
Tiffy fit.
But that could have been an opportunity for Dublin to get back in. The flick inside from a Dublin point of view. Lovely bit of play, Brian, but a chance down the far end now. Powered, a bit of an overlap here. If she could get inside, looking to get away, but she's held up illegally, says the referee. And Katie Power, using all her experience there, Brian, nearly conceding a goal at the other end. Down the far end, you're getting yourself surely the way Prendergast is playing a certain point here.
Yeah, great defending by Tiffany Fitzgerald. Last ditch tackle down the other end of the field. But time and time again now, Katie Power is able to run out off Hannah Leddy. I think Dublin have a problem there. It's just too easy for her to come out and get it.
That is definitely a problem, and it's something that Dublin or Kilkenny maybe were aware of. The fact as well that Laura Murphy's in a quarterback kind of role here at the minute, and everything has been left with Aoife Prendergast. A bit of a change in tack from Kilkenny that they obviously felt didn't work well for them last week. It's working here today so far as Prendergast sends it on its way, and it's high and handsome and over the bar again, and she's on a run here, as we said, Brian. She's having a fine first half here.
Yeah, unbelievable. Hasn't missed one, and Laura Murphy didn't miss one last week. Absolutely spoiled for choice for free taking.
1-5 now for Prendergast out of the 1-8. Dublin needing something to happen now, Brian. It's going out the gap again on them here. A 7-point lead at half time might be a little bit too much to try and break down into. For all their huffing and puffing here, you would feel they need to be that little bit closer. When it got within 3 points there, I thought, yeah, but getting out to 7 now becomes a little bit more difficult. And that ball over on the far side, Pat O'Neill, I can see him there clenching the fist, happy with the girls. They're not in Coppers, they're in Parnell Park, and they're given loads here at the minute. They lead by 1-8-4.
Yeah, they have the shooting boots instead of the dancing boots on here today, Killian.
Well, it's typical, Brian. You know well, playing with teams, you know, you go up on your first day out and you shoot the lights out, and then unfortunately whatever happens, the gods take it from you the next day and you don't seem to be able to hit a barn door.
No, they just weren't that. Even though they were 4-1 up early doors against Waterford, Waterford clearly the better team.
They're absolutely flying here now at the minute. Here's Power again. She is causing Hannah Leddy untold problems here at the minute. Pirouettes out of that. Katie giving it off Prendergast, dropping it short on her left and up and over the bar. That's the Kilkenny we know. And we're seeing it here. Katie Power as well as having an absolutely massive performance in there, and Dublin have to sort that out.
Yeah, I think they need to change it. They need to change her marker. Hannah's just finding her too much of a handful at the moment every time it goes in.
Well, Katie, as we know, forgoes her own game maybe of taking opportunities and sets up others, and that's what she's doing quite well out there. She definitely a different style of player since she came back from that injury, of course, there in the last 18 months. She's plays, as we said, a different type of role, and had been at centre back, playing this today up with Prendergast at centre forward. Dublin needs something to start happening for them. It's a decent ball inside now. Movement here out of Aisling O'Neill. Got a fine score early on, and there's a fine second score from Aisling O'Neill. You just have to keep giving her the ball, Brian.
Yeah, but I think on the other side, I think Kilkenny really have to clamp on her. She's an absolutely top class player. For me, gets in any team in the country when she's fit. Brilliant point. Brilliant point, Aisling O'Neill. You're
watching Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. As we said, both managers agreeing before the game, a must-win game for them if they're to be thinking of anywhere at all about quarterfinals. And this ball played on, that looked like a foul over the shoulder there of Sophie Holden. But ball has made its way inside, and the Dublin crowd were trying to let Donegal Callan know that was a foul there committed. And now after a little bit of afters or whatever verbals, he's moved the free out 19-5. It is 4 minutes or thereabouts to go. We will have a bit of stoppage time. There's been a couple of knocks as Dublin flight this ball forward on the far side. Kilkenny, if there is any elements, they do have them. You can see the flags over on the far side blowing down towards the Collins Avenue side of Parnell Park here as Kilkenny are lording it at the minute. You can see where their half back line is playing. The Dublin forward struggling inside, and this ball gets down towards Holden. Pirouettes out, but there's a Dublin player gone down again, slipping under the challenge there. And referee, I don't know, he's pointed in towards the Dublin goal, but it looks like Niamh Gannon's in a little bit of bother.
Yeah.
And is he giving a free into or a free out? Just the way the hand was gesticulating there, I'm not sure how to make the call, but we wait and see. Physio is in, keeping an eye on Niamh Gannon.
Yeah.
Looks like it's a Kilkenny free. I think he must be giving it for the original challenge. Was it on Sophie Holden?
Yes, I think so. And Jordan that Dublin have made the switch. Abby Ryan has gone on Katie Power. and Hannah Leddy's gone over onto Sophie Holden.
Could be too little, too late. We'll wait and see if this goes over the bar here. It'll be a significant lead for Dublin at half time. 7 they lead it at the moment. Is that breeze 7-8 point breeze? I don't know. It's going to be a tough ask here now for Dublin, and of course they are operating without their taliswoman in Aisling Marr, picking up an injury during the week. And Dublin started so well, but Kilkenny, once they smelt a little bit of blood, they went for it, and it's a short one worked out here now between Holden and Prendergast. Holden gets inside. Oh, lovely bit of play for Sophie. I think she was just on the step mark. But Donncha Callan closer to the action there. She was going to drop the shoulder one more time and maybe set up Aoife Prendergast.
Just overplayed it, should have popped it off.
Tommy Shefflin might be saying maybe Aoife Prendergast should have put that ball over the bar. But anyway, ball breaking down the far end of the field here now, and bit of a scrum forming not too far from Tommy Shefflin, roaring on these girls over there as they lead 1-9 to 5 points. But Dublin are the ones that somehow get out of that scrum and try to get it forward. But Kilkenny are there in numbers again, trying to sniff out and put pressure on the Dublin player that's on the ball. Another scrum forming just inside the Dublin 65. Donncha Callan quite happy to allow the play to come out, and it's Gannon that comes out with it again. Niamh Gannon wins some amount of ball that way. On to Finnegan. Bit of an overlap here now for Dublin. If they're intelligent with working it, she elects to go for the score, and Brian, that wasn't the option.
No, it wasn't. Aisling O'Neill was been double marked inside, but it was neither a score or a pass.
The ball is worked out now by Kilkenny. Will they punish Dublin for that little bit of indecision? The last time they did something like that, they got a score at the other end. Holden is now causing Leddy problems on the far side. The target seems to be that opportunity as the ball comes out here to Barco. Barco turning inside. Good strong play. Clean pair of heels. Having a shot at the post. It's over the bar. Lovely bit of play between the two girls that were in today. Sophie Holden win that ball. Sets up Barco. Lovely score, Brian.
Yeah, lovely score. And the first time Sarah Barco has sprung into action. First saw her in under 15 and left corner forward, and definitely a player with a lot of promise, but that's the first time today she's shown it, but you can see what she can do when she gets it.
Dublin puck out again, going long. It's held up a little bit. The breeze is over our commentary position here, heading towards the goal mouth there. Now here's the ball. Opportunity, maybe Power using their strength again. Gets in front of the player there. Went to try and win it back, but Abby Ryan a little bit cuter there. Leaves the pass a bit short though. Back out goes towards Hurley. Hurley having to step out around the house, and she gets out well and plays an intelligent ball out. Ball is dropped there by Gabby Couch. Got the opening score of the game, but here's a shout off her shoulder, and it's a drive out here now from fullback Emma O'Byrne. Emma looking over to the far side. Touched there by Finnegan. Knocking it down. Gannon trying to come onto it. Ball hits the deck again. The black and amber jerseys there, numbers, a few sky blue and navies, one there as well, and it's Kilkenny to come out with the ball now, leading here at the minute 1-10 to 5, coming up into additional time now, whatever has to be played. Didn't see it on a board anywhere. Ball is knocked into the direction here of Holden's causing Leddy, as we said, the problems now, left behind there by Leddy. Holden looks to kick it on. Power is in there trying to dig it out as well. Leddy is there, so is the cornerback Abby Ryan. Ball is taken away and there's fall to the ground, and I think it's been given that Katie Power was being fouled there. She was using though again the head there, Brian. I think she drew that foul.
Yeah, the old dog for the hard road. She used her experience, drew the free. Abby pulled her down, and here we go. And Aoife Prendergast, can she still be 100%?
Up here in the commentary position, quite tight today with all the camera action around Brian and Luke. At tight quarters here now as we watch this play. Prendergast now watching this. This should suit enough here. The breeze kind of is coming diagonally, as we said. It should be over her shoulder. 1-10 to 5 points. 32 minutes gone here at Parnell Park as Prendergast off the upright, and it went over the bar. Yeah. It was a tight one for Prendergast, but she keeps her form running here. 1-11 to 5, Brian.
Yeah, that was a tough free. A great score for me for Prendergast. Unerring.
1-7 she has of the 1-11 here now to 5 points. Dublin need something big. I think they need a goal or a couple of points before the break. Wild trying to get forward. Lovely challenge there. Was that opportunity there for Dublin, but Donncha Callan says that it's going to be a free in, that there was a foul being committed. It was Laura Murphy. I was about to say it. Laura Murphy has covered some blade of grass over this half back line here, Brian, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think from the start of the year has been Kilkenny's best player. Absolutely. Gone back centre back today, from been playing centre forward, midfield.
Was there anything this girl can't do?
No, she's
scoring the points in the last 2 matches, and then is doing such a player job as McKerney puts that ball over the bar for her second point. So Aoife McKerney with that point makes it 111 to 6. But Dublin, you feel if you're to have anything going in at half time here now with Jerry McQuaid, you're going to have to put another score on the board down in the direction here of Finnegan. But it looks like a foul there being committed, and the Kilkenny backs there were clever in how to deal with it. Brian, you would feel if we were to blow the whistle now, it's going to be an uphill task for Dublin in the second half.
Yeah, you feel they're going to need goals, and it's hard to see where they're going to get them outside of Aisling O'Neill. Fitzgerald
knocking this ball down along the wing. Gannon trying to read it, getting over to the far side. That's Niamh Gannon. Of all the Gannons that are playing, her sisters Claire and Aisling, one at wing back, one at full forward. Over on the far side, tight ass now, trying to give it to Abby Ryan maybe to break out, or Leddy it was. Oh, loose pass, looking to sniff onto it. If Kilkenny got another goal, it'd be home and hose, you would feel. But it's Dublin as some have got out of it, but they've been charged down again. Oh, Kilkenny sniffing blood again here. Opportunity maybe to get forward with their number 8 Ava Gorman. Loses the ball down. The pass maybe was a simpler one inside. Ball goes back somehow all the way into Emer Hurley again. She's been overworked, you would feel, Hurley, in this game, and maybe didn't need to be. And then the referee's going to call a halt there. What did he notice? Hand is up. He spotted a foul of some sort. And is it a Kilkenny player maybe he's going to speak to?
Yeah, I think Steffi Fitzgerald.
It looks like it's going to be a yellow card, and it'll be the second one to a Kilkenny player. Sarah Barco got one early doors, and he wasn't happy with that challenge by Steffi.
But Dublin played the ball there nearly 20 yards backwards.
I just don't understand. Emer Hurley's been under some pressure. 111 to 6 points. And I'd say we're well on now, additional time, 4.5 minutes. Didn't think we would have this long, but Donald Callan happy as the ball continues. He has the whistle in the mouth, so I'd say maybe next break he's going to pull a blow on it, and there it is. So there you have it, 111 to 6 points, 14 points to 6. After Dublin's promising start, Brian, Kilkenny at 2 different occasions in that first half sniffed blood, and when Kilkenny sniffed blood, they go for it. They got a goal in one stage, they got 3 points in a row in another.
Yeah, well, the changes they've made from last week, you could say, obviously on the scoreboard, it has made the difference. Aoife Pendergast didn't start. Katie Power was centre back. Now she's the leader in chief of the attack. And they both been really the reason Kilkenny are winning by the score they're winning by at half time. Other than that, Dublin, look, to me, I think they're going to have to try hit Aisling O'Neill and take her on if they're going to get goals to get themselves in this game. But at the moment, it's hard to see it how they're going to come back.
Yeah, because I would have expected, Brian, that maybe in that first half they may have tried to mind the house a little bit better, extra players back or whatever it might be, and get the half time in touch, and then you could kick on. But it was something what they did, I thought, well against Galway in that first half. Stayed in touch, and at half time they were level. Yeah. But then obviously in the second half they didn't play that particularly well against Galway. Now they're going to have to come out and play a second half out of their skins here if they're to be considered in any way for the rest of the championship.
Yeah, they're going to have to go for it, because effectively, as we were saying beforehand, if you lose, you're more or less out. Too much messing about at the back for me. Okay, Abby slipped. It's unfortunate. Another couple of scores they slip, but if some ball's been played out short, trying to run it out instead of letting the ball out and getting on with the game. Obviously we're trying to maybe play the clock, keep things down, keep possession, but it's backfired. And turnovers I think have cost them 1-3 to 111, and that's not getting into how many frees for Pendergast. I think she's 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 or 7.
And there's only one, and there was only one. She got one from play.
7.
Yeah, so
7 frees.
Yeah, and Brian, there was only one of them was particularly difficult.
Yes, but it's the concession of them.
Yeah.
You're giving somebody like her with her reputation, and Dixborough won an All-Ireland on her hitting frees. She was unerring, and she just hasn't missed one. No, and when she's in that kind of form, she's going to be very, very hard to stop. So Dublin, you feel, will have to make changes. They're going to have to get an early goal here, Brian, aren't they? They're going to have to get an early goal. They have to cut out the frees, and they're going to have to push on. Kilkenny, keep doing what they're doing. Keep doing what they're doing. Why would you change? They've looked solid. I don't think Aoife Norris has had a shot to save. No. A couple of great scores, Mashling O'Neill, a couple of frees, good score, Mashling Gannon at the start. But yeah, Kilkenny just keep doing what you're doing, and I think if they tack on 5 or 6 points in the second half, it's hard to see Dublin pulling it back. But as we've seen, obviously, with Dublin and Kilkenny, with the senior men, no game is over till it's over. And I mean, Dublin need to come out right from the start here, though, and lay it down.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I noticed one Kilkenny sub has gone in there. It's got a pat in the back from the Tommy Shefflin and the crew. So we're going to see one Kilkenny change, I would say, at half time here. But it looks like the changes are going to have to come from a Dublin point of view, and they're going to have to happen quick if they're to have a say in the rest of the championship, never mind just this match alone. So here at half time in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, it's of course Group 2 Round 3 encounter, but it is Kilkenny who are flying out the gate here. They lead by 111 to Dublin 6 points. Rejoin us shortly. Welcome back here as teams from the background get in. I think we have the referee being notified of that Kilkenny change. So, yeah, it looks like Cueva is in. There's also just looking at Steffi Fitzgerald, Brian, looks like she's picked up a bit of heavy strapping, is it, around her left knee and calf?
More strapping. I think it's Sarah. Look, just looking out here, Killian, to see it. Looks like Sarah Barco is gone, is it? From Murtaker.
Murtaker is in anyway. As we're back up and running, let you know that Limerick have got ahead against Clare there. It was level at half time, 7-1-4. After Limerick got the goal, Clare hit 4 points in a row to force that level at half time, but Limerick have come out and got the opening score of the second half. It's here just underway in 20 seconds, 1-11 to 6 points, and Dublin have won a free as they attack the Collins Avenue end and dropping a long ball in. It's a dangerous one right in the edge of the square. Got to be careful. Norris, her first real touch of the ball in live action, let's say. She obviously had a few puck-outs, but getting this ball out in eventually. Bit of play there by Steffi Fitzgerald to hold off the challenge of Niamh Gannon getting the ball forward, but Dublin read that well there through another one there. Main linchpins in Emma Byrne. Lovely ball now and move by Aisling O'Neill. Needs to get something rolling here. O'Neill still going. Go for a low shot. Back of the net. Exactly what the doctor ordered. 1 minute gone. And you said, as you rightly said, Brian, in the first half, feed Aisling O'Neill the ball.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kilkenny wouldn't mark her out for some particular attention. She's one of the best forwards in Ireland. Absolutely brilliant from Aisling O'Neill. She turned left Ciara Phelan for dead, and only one thing on her mind, back of the net. And I could see a change there in the Kilkenny backline.
Yeah, so that now maybe wakes up the crowd. It also wakes up the game. It's a 5-point game now all of a sudden with Emma Byrne. How important was that ball forward? But Aisling O'Neill, we know she has it in the locker, burst the pace and put the ball in the back of the net. Not a whole lot Aoife Norris could do. Brian, it was far enough away inside that post into that bottom corner. Good goal here.
And I'm just looking, Killian, she's on the edge of the square one-on-one with Ciara Phelan. If I was Kilkenny, I certainly wouldn't be letting that amount of space in front of her invites trouble.
Yeah. So it was that ball in that just floated around, and then Kilkenny were under a bit of pressure and eventually cleared by Emma Byrne from her own half, right to Aisling O'Neill, and it was straight line down the middle of the pitch. Laura Murphy now is back minding the house here, looking to be the out ball for this sideline cut right in front of the Dublin mentors and all the Hurleys lined up against the hoarding over there. So Cueva Murta is in. She in for Sophie Holden, as it seems to be. That was a swap early on, so change of that at half time. So, opening score of the second half, the goal then from Aisling O'Neill, and a fine performance from her so far, a goal and 2 points. But the lady that's leading it all above is Aoife Prendergast. 1-7 she has. The goal and a point from play of that 1-7 of Kilkenny's 1-11. And here she is over this free. Difficult enough one because the breeze now coming diagonally across to her on the face and lofted nice and high, but it's pulled out to the left and wide, and referee not happy with a challenge. It's inside, and so Sophie is still there, and she's just been warned, and Sophie's got to be careful. Just on falling out with the referee. A couple of yellow cards have gone Kilkenny's way. As the ball breaks. And it's taken on here by Kilkenny's number 8, Ava Gorman. Plays a ball inside, but 3 Kilkenny players there, and it was fell straight to a Dublin hand. Ball breaks off of Aisling Gannon, making it all the way through here to Danger Lady Aisling O'Neill. She's on her bike again. She has a player left and right. She goes for Grace O'Shea, going to shoot. Going Norris right behind that one. She probably needed to go across the keeper, Brian, and it was going to be a hard one, but it's back out to Gannon, and the ball, a loose pass from Norris over the bar, and Dublin have hit a goal in the point, just what the game needed here. But it could have been a second goal.
It could have been a second goal, and I don't think Kilkenny can afford to leave Ciara feeling on her for too much longer. They got away with it for the goal, and then Aoife Norris has presented them with a point. But we have a game on now, Killian.
Yeah, we have a game on now. Good to see. It's what we came for. 1-11 to 1-7. Kilkenny need to answer now and get something on the board here and moving through the hands here. Getting it towards Steffi Fitzgerald, as we said, heavily bandaged now. Didn't have that in the first half. Bandage at half time, and she's got a fine score here. And that's a perfect response in a way. And it's Kilkenny's first score of the second half.
Yeah, great score from Steffi, and I think all 6 Kilkenny forwards have now scored. I think she was the only one who hadn't.
Yeah, from the way that they
she's
have
raised the flag,
lined out.
yeah.
Steffi has got the ball over the bar. And I would think if your 6 forwards or starting forwards are scoring, they are in the chance of winning the game. They continue to lead by 5 points, but as we said, a goal and a point from Dublin and a bit more of a pep in their step might put on a bit of a challenge here. Caoimhe Murtagh getting that ball back, and it's Prendergast going to have a shot into the far end. Ball is dropping in. Keeper was backpedaling. It's over the bar, and that was one thing we noted, Brian, in that first half was the turnovers on Dublin's own possession.
Yeah, they're getting turned over and it's costing them scores, but a great score from me for Prendergast. Absolutely brilliant point into the breeze. A great score.
But she never even looked, Brian. She just knew exactly where she was on
where
the
the
field.
posts are today.
Yeah, she definitely, just as we said, shooting the lights out. Has one wide, but everything else has been heading in the right direction. Kilkenny, maybe that's something now that woke Kilkenny up a little bit here as they attempt to get this ball out now and drive on again. Dublin, as we said, still have that mountain to climb. Started to head up it anyway, and it's been eased a little bit with that goal and a point. Hannah Leddy is still there, holding off the tensions of Sophie Holden. So it's I think it's Barco that's gone, Brian, of the two that was. And
Sarah Barco, she just got a point before she went off at half time. Maybe she's carrying an injury.
Could be, and she has a yellow card as well. Maybe that was something that they were factoring. Good play there by Dublin's number 12, Aoife McKerney, in a tight position right underneath us to get the ball and get away from Caoimhe Dowling. Now she's going to be met here by Tian. Ball played inside, or Murphy. Oh, it's an opportunity now. It's going to have a shot. Oh, Norris again, batting it away. The shot came in there from Dublin's number 25, Kerry Finnegan. Kerry in from the start. And Aoife Norris, she didn't have a whole lot to do in the whole game, Brian. She's had so much to do in the opening 7 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, well, Dublin are going more direct. They're getting it into their full forward line and they're asking questions at the Kilkenny back line.
Well, as you said, they're going for it here. As the ball played forward now by Wilde, trying to get it to the inside line there, and Aisling O'Neill. But it's Kilkenny reading a bit of a danger now and bringing it out here with Caoimhe Dowling. Laura Murphy, how important was she maybe in just disrupting that Dublin movement, that maybe Aoife Norris had a clear opportunity to block off that ball as the ball wins the race to the line over on this side. 113 to 1-7. Helter skelter opening 8 minutes here.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dublin needed to come out and show it, and they have, to be fair. They've got right from the word go, have got right after Kilkenny.
1-1 to 2 points in the second half. Ball forward, getting on, trying to get onto it here. Jennifer Moore, she's in on the field of play. That obviously was a change at half time as well. We'll have to identify who she came on for, as she was down to start. Is it Shabelle Sherry that she's in? Yeah. So a change at half time. Power goes to the clouds, gives it off here now. Fitzgerald looking to get forward. She's got one on her right. Is she going to pull the off to the left? And it was the challenge from Emma O'Byrne, just as I think she was about to pull the trigger, was the difference there. Wide, but as I said, Brian, anything could happen here at this minute.
Yeah, the game is really livened up. It's end to end. It really is a good watch.
Ball breaks over on the far side. A Dublin touch on it, but it's Caoimhe that gets on and wins that ball. Getting it inside. Heard a shout from her opposite wing forward, Mary O'Connell. O'Connell looked like she was definitely pulled there, but referee allowing the play to continue, and there's a bit of a set-to between the two players at the end. And I have to say, I don't blame Mary O'Connell appealing to the referee, as she should have had a free there. But the ball is out over the line over on the far side. Dublin urging their players here now at the minute. And as we said, the next 10 minutes out could be vital, but it's still a 6-point game. A lot has to happen right for Dublin if we're to get a little bit closer here. But that goal definitely spurred up the crowd over on the far side. Bit of, as you said, afters going on as this ball played over here now, asking an awful lot of Finnegan to try and get there, but she's giving it everything as Gannon. Also a clash of the ash there. Laura Murphy, big game she's having for Kilkenny, I have to say, covering every blade of grass. in trying to hold off this. Emma Byrne, another big player in this game too. She was the one that set up the pass for the goal. Ball trying to get it towards Kerry Finnegan, but referee says there was been a foul committed, and it's a chance here now for Dublin, and I imagine McKerney is going to come forward to take it here.
It looks like they brought Niamh Deely over on Aisling O'Neill to try quell the problem that they have.
So Dublin, as we said, being a bit more direct, have this free. And it's McKerney got 2 frees in the first half. Chance here now with the elements somewhat with Dublin. And McKerney puts that ball over the bar. $16 points to 11, so 113 to 1-8. Bit more to talk about here, obviously, in this second half then, as Kilkenny come out and work it up the field with Niamh Deely. Down towards Power. Power's caught an amount of ball or been involved in trying to get it holding. Looking to break onto it. Has a shout further out. Here's an opportunity for Kilkenny. Oh, what a diving tackle. Advantage is still, the hand was out, but I think it's done now as Dublin try to kick it out. What a block there by the Dublin defence, Brian. It looked like Mary O'Connell was just about to pull the trigger. Left behind by Dublin as they look to build out with it now with Gannon giving the ball off here. Knocked down along the wing. Kilkenny fighting hard over there. Looks like Ava O'Gorman trying to get it down along the wing. Pass thrown inside. It's opportunity trying to get forward here now. Kilkenny keeping it tight stations. O'Connell bouncing around the house. Back out to Prendergast. Prendergast settling on it on her left hand side. Gets a tussle after it. Punches the air because the ball has gone over the bar. And it's a right physical encounter, and Aoife Prendergast is playing her bit.
Yeah, fantastic tackle by Abby Ryan on Mary O'Connell to save the goal. O'Connell she delayed a fraction too long, but what a tackle from Abby Ryan.
She was trying to pick her spot as Abby Ryan got across. As I said, it stopped that certain goal from Mary O'Connell, but Kilkenny did get the point off it, and it remains a 6-point game. Referee's not happy with whatever little verbals went on there, and he's moved the free forward. I have to say, Brian, there's been some amount of off-the-ball physical encounters in this. As you said, I suppose familiarity breeds contempt, but I've never seen the amount of bodies on the ground here.
Yeah, and again, a little bit of indiscipline for Kilkenny, because this makes it a lot handier now for Aoife McKerney. It's all right being physical, but in the right manner. I mean, talking and getting it brought forward, not a good idea.
Donald O'Connell is definitely something that he's been on top of today, not taking any back chat at all as McKerney steps over this and knocks it up and over the bar. It's her 2nd point of the second half, and it's her 4th in total. Dublin, of course, minus Aisling Maher, picking up an injury during the week, wasn't able to take her place. Siobhan Sherry came in for her, but Siobhan has been replaced at half time by Jennifer Moore, also replaced at half time with Sarah Barco, and on for her is Cueva Karen Murta. As Dublin turned this ball over, Aisling O'Neill going for the score. There was 2 Dublin players gone inside, including Kerry Finnegan, but she went for her own score. There was a goal chance there, Brian.
Yeah, just Cueva Dowling dilly-dally and got turned over, and she gave it to the wrong woman from a Kilkenny point of view anyway. The right woman in Dublin point of view.
The form that she is in, Aisling O'Neill leading the charge here now, 114 to 110. Dublin sniffing that they have to take a chance, but this lady has definitely grown into the game in Steffi Fitzgerald. Has had a point and also had an opportunity blocked down. Knocks it down into the corner. Katie Power not giving up on it, trying to help out Holden there. Holden being tracked by Leddy, and there's a number of Dublin players trying to get back as recycling the ball out along the line is Power. Giving it off here, one look and a strike, and it's on its way over the bar. Mary O'Connell with a fine score there, Brian. She threatened it on the far side about 2 minutes ago. She's got it on this side.
Yeah, great play by Katie Power. Won the ball, held it up, waited. Mary O'Connell to get in position over the bar. Really good score.
And Mary O'Connell gets her points, but she's been called ashore, and coming on for her is Kellyanne Doyle. Kellyanne got a point against Derry. She's in on the field of play, and we know the hassle that the Doyles have gone through in recent years with injury, and great to see Kellyanne back out on the field of play. And any time that the Doyles have said as we get out to give their all for the Kilkenny jersey, and Kellyanne now getting the touch of the ball, first touch, and always a good thing to get that first touch straight in and get it out of the way towards Fitzgerald, looking for the run off the ball. Laura Green, we look at the Fitzgerald though, settling on this, and all of a sudden Steffi Fitzgerald is becoming the target woman.
Yeah, again out on the half forward line today, has been playing as corner forward for the first couple of games. Could never see it myself, but really, really good. And she's leading the Kilkenny attack.
Leading the Kilkenny attack at the minute. She's the go-to, as we said. Kellyanne Doyle, as we mentioned, also in on the field of play in the 45th minute. Mary O'Connell called ashore. Mary got a point against Derry, a point against Waterford. She got 2 today against Dublin, 116 to 110. They're just keeping Dublin at arm's length, but at least the spectacle is a little bit better here. But Kilkenny won't care about the spectacle. They want to get the points. Dublin have got 1-4 in the second half. Kilkenny have got 5 points. Here come Dublin again. Blocked down. Laura Murphy, everywhere she is, getting another important block down there. Off the back of the scrum there, if she was to be able to pop out. Laura, who was so important, free taken in the last 2 games, giving it up today. Aoife Prendergast has taken that over, and Laura Murphy has just become a one-man battering ram back there for Kilkenny. She's absolutely everywhere Dublin are trying to be. Kellyanne Doyle now finding it to the aforementioned Murphy, driving it forward. 2-on-2 in here at the minute, and there's a player further on the field, that's Sophie Holden. It was a bit of a scrum form, and here goes Steffi Fitzgerald again. How important has she become to Kilkenny in this second half? Into the hand of Eva O'Gorman. O'Gorman though tried to do too much in a round of 4 Dublin players. Ball knocked long now. Dublin, you would feel, now need to get another goal if they're to be in the challenge here at the end. We're heading into the last quarter. Ball is over on that far side. As we said, familiarity breeds contempt. They're both sides giving it absolutely everything here now. Nothing left to chance. As a scrum forms, Donald Callan quite happy that the ball is continuing to move over there, and now he decides to call a halt with 16 minutes gone this second half. We haven't had a chance to draw a breath. Looks like another change coming in. Looks like it's going to be a Dublin change. It's about to make 116-110. It's a Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, and it's a change, and Aoife McKerney has been called ashore, so I'll be interested to see who take on the free taking duty. Coming in wearing number 17 is Aoife Heffernan.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And for the frees, I don't know who'll hit them now that Aoife's gone off.
And they've obviously made a decision that they need something different out there. Maybe McKerney's GPS was telling them something.
Well, Niamh Deely is definitely man marking Aisling O'Neill now, and Caoimhe Dowling is the one sitting back for Kilkenny.
Yeah, just looking at the pocket at the minute there, and here's
an
opportunity now again.
Goals.
Murphy popping the pass, Kellyanne Doyle, some of the experience just popping the passes across each other now at the minute. Dublin tried to chase down here Caoimhe Dowling. Dowling turns back into a bit of traffic, but here's a shout, and eventually Kilkenny looking to come out with it here. Bit of a loose pass, but it got away. Ciara Phelan eventually moved forward here by Laura Green. Green in towards Power. Power turns into a tackle. Looked like a heavy challenge. Referee saw nothing in it. Here's Steffi Fitzgerald again, battering on. She goes, gives it here towards Holden. Holden back out. This will be some score if Kilkenny get it. Chance blocked away. As looked like it was going to be Caoimhe Kerr. We saw her name in lights there, the ball going over the bar, but it's blocked down by the Dublin defence, and they come up at the far side of the field. It's Gannon again. Niamh Gannon's been everywhere for Dublin as well. She's had a fine performance. She's one of the standout, along with Emma O'Byrne, I feel, and Aisling O'Neill. They'll be in the hunt for player of the match. We'll be thinking about that, Brian, shortly. Also, you'd have to mention, of course, Steffi Fitzgerald having a big second half. Also, Katie Power, Aoife Prendergast, and Laura Murphy surely in the reckoning, and we'll talk about that in about the next 10 minutes. Won't worry about player of the match awards just yet. 116-110 still ought to play for here. Ball has been broken down by Dublin as they look to charge forward. As I said, I think they need to find the back of the onion sack again. They're asking an awful lot there of Kerry Finnegan to try and win that ball, and the ball makes it all the way back to Norris popping the pass out to her wing back Niamh Deely. Deely looking to get forward, held up there by the attentions of Gannon. That's Aisling Gannon. The 3 Gannons, of course, on the field of play, and there's a couple of couches as well thrown in. 116-110 it remains. Ball is in the ruck over there on the far side, and eventually Dublin coming charging again in the Collins Avenue side of the field. They're trying to get this ball over here towards Aisling O'Neill. Look at that burst of pace that she has. Look at the drive forward. Sorry, Grace O'Shea looking to get away from the attentions of her marker, puts that ball over the bar, and in fairness, Grace O'Shea has a clean pair of heels like Aisling O'Neill, was able to get down and win that ball well, get away from Michelle Tehan, knock it over the bar. Good score from a Dublin point of view, Brian.
Yeah, Grace O'Shea and Aisling O'Neill, they have to run on their opposite markers if they can get the ball put into space to them, and they can show what they can do.
Into the 49th minute, 116 to 111. That's the closest though Dublin have got in this encounter as the ball is knocked forward now. Trying to get in possession there is Katie Power. She's had a big game, but she's been held up well there, and a right battle going on between herself and Abby Ryan there at the minute. But the ball played forward. Referee says not an accruing. From, I think, a Dublin point of view, is it? No,
he's given she threw the ball. Sinead Wilde. Yeah, throw ball.
And another change happening from a Kilkenny point of view. It looks like, is it Ava O'Gorman? I think has gone off the field of play there. And coming in looks like it's Ava Brett. So on the 50th minute, that is the change that Kilkenny have decided to make. But at 116 to 111 now, maybe a few tired bodies out there. But here goes Prendergast. Got 2 in the second half, but she has, of course, scored 1-7. 5 of the 1-7 in the first half came from play. She's had 2 points from play in this second half. In towards now, the Donecarney's church steeple will probably be our target, and it's heading in that direction, and then
great
just
score.
Slightly to the left over the bar. Fine score from Aoife Prendergast.
Great striking from Aoife Prendergast. Absolutely brilliant strike. Interesting, Ava Brett gone into midfield, has really been playing as the man marker for Kilkenny all through the league and the first round of the championship, and actually held Niamh Rocket scoreless last week until she was taken off. But now she's gone in the middle of the park. Very good young player.
Interesting one indeed. It's a draw game down in Ennis, and that might be a strange turn on the table, and what that would mean if that was to come away with a draw. Premier Junior, latest we have Tyrone Lee Wicklow by 1-6 to 1-5. Ball is broken down here, 117 to 111. 117 is fair scoring, Brian. You'd be winning many a game with 117, and that's where Kilkenny find themselves at the minute, trying to get forward here now. And a shot off from Laura Green. Ball is going to drop in to Hurley, and she has a chance to pick a pass over to the far side where Niamh Gannon is the go-to player, being challenged here by Kellyanne Doyle, held up without her. Hurley has to get the ball back, and eventually it's cleared, but there's no Dublin player there, asking a lot again of Finnegan to be able to get it, and Kilkenny have an opportunity to send it forward. Cueva Dowling, diagonal ball from whence it came over into the direction of a Dublin hand, and driving out with it there is Claire Gannon. Claire and her sister Niamh, they're at close quarters, but Kilkenny have turned it over. Ball is dropping in. Power is taking it. Looking to get inside. Abby Ryan battling down on it still. Pops the pass here to Sophie Holden. Holden though being hit by 3 Dublin players at the one time. Not a whole lot she could do. And eventually Letty gets the ball, and it's a popped eventually into the hand from Emma Byrne to Emer Hurley, and she gets that ball out to the middle of the field. Could have been a goal. Katie Power, just the angle probably got a bit tight on her, but Kilkenny have turned it over again. Niamh Deely playing it forward here. Looking to pop away on this is Steffi Fitzgerald. As we said, had a big second half and has drawn the foul, exactly showing her experience. And you would think, Brian, it's now, Kilkenny's to lose here ultimately, because so much would have to go right for Dublin in the remaining time we have left.
Yeah, the substitutions have made a difference for Kilkenny. The strength off the bench, like Kellyanne, been able to bring somebody like her into the team, Ava Brett, and then obviously Niamh Deely going, and Aisling O'Neill. To be fair, the ball hasn't gone in there. And Steffi Fitzgerald has really stepped it up second half for Kilkenny. She's just leading the attack.
Absolutely, she's the go-to woman at the minute, despite being heavily bandaged, as that ball is played by Prendergast over the bar. And as I said, when she gets the eye in, it's hard to stop Aoife Prendergast.
Oh, superb striker, the ball, Aoife. It's just, I think she's missed one.
Yeah, and that was from an angle over the far side that would have been into the wind, and she wasn't far off. So from all her shots a goal, that's all she's coughed up. As Kilkenny starting to get the grips around that middle bit again, and Deely knocking the ball forward towards Power. Power and Abby Ryan have had a fine battle out there, getting one stick in there though, and knocking that ball away was Christine Shanahan. Shanahan now getting it out to her cornerback Hannah Letty. Letty in a bit of trouble now, turns left and right. I think she overplayed the ball and eventually walks out over the line on the far side after a good disruptive play by Kilkenny. But you'd have to say, Brian, apart from maybe the goal being scored from a Dublin point of view, Kilkenny have been on the top of the ground. They've been just I don't know. It's like someone went in and offended them all week or something. They've been outside, hitting, belting, scalping, everything.
Yeah, well,
and even off with the referee at times.
Well, Laura Green just gave the example of it there. She just hunted Jennifer Moore down. Well, which way she twisted, she was with her.
Yeah.
And she got the turnover.
Bit of cramp now and also a little bit of a knock there. Cueva showing her physical strength. I thought it was shoulder to shoulder again, I have to say, but referee didn't allow the play to continue as a change. We see positional switch going around on the field of play here. Dublin, I think, have made a change, and also I think Sophie Holden has gone off over there, if I memory right. Dublin have introduced a change too. I don't know the numbers there that have just come in, but we do see a bit of movement over on the benches there.
Katie Nolan in for Sophie Holden. I mean, what a sub to bring in.
Imagine.
What a player.
You put up with Sophie Holden and then you have Katie Nolan coming in on you.
All-Ireland final. Katie was,
Ball breaks now and trying to get onto it here are Dublin. Aisling O'Neill has had a fine game. She sends that towards that left-hand upright and drops it over the bar. Brian, I would have to say, I think her wide count overall is about 5 or 6. Some of the shooting has been top quality.
Oh, yeah. She's an absolute role-rise of a player. To me, she gets on any team in the country. Once she gets turned onto her left-hand side, you may tell your man to get the flag.
118 to 112 it is then. So as we say, Katie Nolan is on and there is a Dublin change. Just can't see the number at the minute as the ball breaks right down here in front of us. 118, 112. If Dublin don't have a chance, you need to find that back at the net now at this stage. But in there winning it again. Steffi Fitzgerald, what a second half for Kilkenny she's had. Dropping the ball down into the corner. Power, she's had a massive game all game. Katie Power, back to, I think, Katie Power of old, just dictating and marauding around the place. Look at it again, a flick there out of nothing, getting it and setting it up here. Opportunity, but the ball breaks off the Dublin player there and Power goes hunting again. Knocking it here now to Nolan, going to have a shot, bats it in, and Hurley is able to keep it on her. Hurley knocking it out, just asking an awful lot of Abby Ryan. Had to be helped out there by Gannon. Gannon then to Hurley over on the far side, turns back onto her right and knocking it long. Underneath it there is Kerry Finnegan. Gannon also. Dublin trying to get one last sniff of a goal maybe with 3.5 minutes remaining. Thankfully the second half has been something to talk about and kept us interested, because I felt at half time we could have been in a bit of bother. Gannon gets across, keeps that away from Power. Good play there by Claire Gannon. Claire has a player inside, getting it away from the attentions there. Kellyanne Doyle trying to drive on with it there is Christine Shanahan. Has a shout inside from Wild. Wild looking to drive on. Took it very well on the Hurley. Has an advantage. Drives it in and drives it over the bar. One of the scores of the game, Brian.
Yeah, great score from Sinead Wild. Well worked down the field by Dublin. Really good score.
But again, 5 points is the closest that Kilkenny have allowed Dublin to get. 118 to 113. Over on the far side, Kerry Finnegan trying to hold up the advances of the Kilkenny's number 7 in Cueva Dowling. Ball up along the trams, and it's again Steffi Fitzgerald being so busy, keeping Emma Byrne busy in this game. Emma Byrne was moved out around positioning and tracking everything that Steffi did, but Steffi, I think, winning some of that battle. Nolan looking to jink left and right. Abby Ryan doing everything to hold her up. Aoife Prendergast. Steffi Fitzgerald was looking for her. Prendergast went for that, and that a little bit of a blot on the copybook. Brian, she hasn't had too many bad ones. That one drops to the right and wide. Remains 118 to 113. 58 minutes gone. This is the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. The first real ding-dong one that we've had as things start to get serious now. Ball is over on the far side of play. Still level in Cusack Park. Coming into splashdown there as well. 11 points to 1-8. Don't forget at 4 o'clock, Waterford and Derry, Wexford and Tipperary, as Dublin come out with it here now. Need, as he said, to find the back of the net if they're to be in the hunt here in the closing stages. Jennifer Moore knocking it down here. Dublin might have something to build on there. Number 24 is in there on your after. She's the change that came in, but Kilkenny have turned it over, and just as you rightly said, Brian, it looks like Kilkenny's changes made a bit of a difference here. Some of the old heads as well, and Bill McCormack happy over there with the bit of the work that the Dublin forwards did in winning that ball back. It means 118 to 113. Don't forget, Kilkenny running out of games now. They have everyone has the week off next week, and then Kilkenny entertain Galway at home, and then they're off to have the bye in the final week. Dublin, even if they lose here today, could still, I suppose, have a say in the mix. They have Waterford then and Derry in their final 2 matches. But you would feel now they're going to have to beat Waterford if they're thinking about that quarter-final place, as the free comes in and sends on its way, and it's out to the left and wide. That might have been a big one, Brian. I think a chance kind of big in there. That goes over the bar. All of a sudden, it's the closest Dublin have got to Kilkenny.
Yeah. Well, they took off, obviously, the free taker in Aoife McCartney.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Dublin have really gone ahead right from the start to the second half, and they really have gone at Kilkenny.
Yeah, 1-7 they've scored in this time against 7 points for Kilkenny. So the goal that we got, but it probably needed to be followed up fairly quickly afterwards by another one, as Dublin trying to take this sideline cut. Bit of a movement there. Aoife Heffernan dropping it back. Number 15, Grace O'Shea, looking to pop a ball inside, but there's no Dublin player in that far, and watching the space at the minute here now is Caoimhe Dowling. And I have to say, Brian, one thing I've been impressed by Kilkenny defensively is that a different player has played that role at different stages in the second half, and they've all done it well.
Yeah, but Caoimhe especially doing it well at the minute.
Ball is knocked in here. Power and Ryan going helter-skelter. It's through to Hurley, and she finds a gap over here now. And Dublin with a chance here to attack. Being urged on, Niamh Gannon looking to pop a ball here now, but it's not a great one. The ball was should have been gone to Sinead Wilde, but Wilde, in fairness, has turned that ball over there with the attentions and the help there of Anya Rafter. But it's Kilkenny that look to come out with it, and sitting in the pocket now all of a sudden is Prendergast. She's back there helping out her defence. What a game she's had. I think she's just maybe running low on the gas at the minute. Ball looking to be played forward. Laura Green, could this be the cherry on the top? No, it's pulled out to the right and wide. And since I said that the score taking was so good, we've had a couple of wides. That's the commentator's curse as we head into the additional time. Still a couple of minutes, I would imagine, to be played. 31 gone in the second half. 118 to 113.
It was a bad wide from Laura Green. Really should have put it over the bar.
Looks like we have a result in Nennis, and it's a draw. Clare 112, Limerick 19. What that means out to the rest of things, Wexford probably now might be perked up, even though they have obviously lost their opening 2 game. Might be perked up by that if they were to beat Tipperary on home soil. It still keeps them in touching distance. Clare have obviously got a win and a draw, and Limerick have a win and a draw. Katie Power being spoken to by the referee after whatever went on there. I think there was 2 of them at it. It's unfortunate there's only 1 card being flashed. Katie Power, Brian, you've got to be thinking of a player of the match. She's definitely in the hunt, isn't she?
Yeah, she definitely is. I mean, she's given Kilkenny a focus up front today, which maybe they hadn't had. She's given them a point where they can go to.
Ball is broken now and trying to drive it on with Rafter. Rafter getting away from 2-3 Kilkenny players. Has a shot at the post, dropping it in. Norris got to be careful. And she was being careful. Just if it's tight to the upright, it goes over the bar. Rafter with that latest score for Dublin.
Yeah, she did the right thing. Aoife Norris put it over, just tapped it over. But very good point from Anya Rafter.
Yeah, now it's the closest we've had. 118 to 114. Goal now might all of a sudden wake things up. Laura Murphy dropping it forward here though. Here again is Power out in front of her direct marker. Going to have a shot. It's on its way. We're right behind it. She has the hand up. The umpire's going for the flag. That's a fine score to top off a great performance, Brian.
It is, and I mean at the start she was giving Hannah Leddy problems, and they moved Abby Ryan over, and now she's gone back. Hannah just hasn't been able to handle her today. It's as simple as that.
And I think Katie probably upset by the fact that she got a card from the referee, decides, right, I'll show you, and she comes out and knocks a ball over the bar. That's her second point. 22 to 17. Definitely playing a huge part, Katie Power, in this performance here today. Laura Murphy having a big game as well. Aoife Prendergast, you'd have to credit with such a strong performance. And at various different stages, Caoimhe Dowling back in that pocket there, doing so well. Steffi Fitzgerald having a big second half. They're all Kilkenny players in the hunt. You'd have to give a shout out then for Dublin to Niamh Gannon, never give up. Aisling O'Neill, credit her on her performance. Claire Gannon, Emma O'Byrne at different stages. As this ball played in, batted down there by Hannah Leddy, still there in the hunt. Laura Green looking to come in along the end line, pushed out over. Referee decides I've done enough and seen enough. That's it. 119, 114. At least we had a better second half, Brian, but when you look at the half-time score, it probably was never in doubt.
No, probably not. But to be fair to Dublin, they came out and gave it socks straight after half time, and really like 119 to 114. I mean, anybody who's watching in must have been, got to see a really, really good game. Competitive game, especially second half. In fairness to Dublin, they took it at them. But it's job done for Kilkenny, and move on now to a big match with Galway next week.
Yeah, big match with Galway. Not next week. Next week is a week off, and then they're back the following week. I would imagine that'll be in Nolan Park. That could be a bit of a ding-dong battle ultimately as well. Another kind of to decide maybe who tops the group and who might be heading to the quarter-finals. But for Dublin now, matters are still in their own hands, Brian, but they might need a favour or two. Ultimately, Waterford now know beating Dublin, they're going to be definitely in a quarter final. Dublin know they have to win their last two matches now to be in any way considered.
Yeah, and I suppose the closer they got to Kilkenny, the better in the end, because the only chance Dublin can really go through now is on score difference. So they're really going to have to go to town against Derry, and then they're going to have to win in Waterford.
Yeah.
And that's a big ask after watching Waterford last week.
Yeah. Now, they'd be happy, I suppose, that they got so close without Aisling Maher. They'd be hoping Aisling Maher is back fit. They will need her, would definitely, whatever about the Derry game, they definitely need her against Waterford.
Oh, yeah, you need your top players. It's as simple as that. But I don't know what the injury is or how long she may or may not be out for. But hopefully from a Dublin point of view, that it's not serious and she's back soon.
Yeah, hopefully she will. Well, hopefully, folks, you've enjoyed the action. We're not done and dusted here yet. We're going to hear from our player of the match and also the winning manager. I'm sure he's quite a happy man down there, Tommy Shefflin. Some release of pressure off the shoulders after the performance against Waterford. But they came up here today, and when it was put to them, they were still able to hold Dublin off at arm's length. So full time in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. It's the Group 2 Round 3 encounter has gone the way of Kilkenny. They've come to Parnell Park and come away with the points. They've won here by 119 to Kilkenny's 114. We'll talk to you shortly. Welcome back here, pitchside. Tommy Shefflin, you have a smile on your face. I'm sure that was a performance that you have to be happy with, considering everything that had obviously gone on last week.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I suppose we're all wicked disappointed after last week's performance. So today, like, is about coming up and getting the win and just get the thing back on track. So, like, we got 119. So you have to be happy with that. Like, shooting 20 scores, like, so you can't ask for any more. But I suppose the big thing in the first half, we had 25 turnovers. So that shows the intent that the girls brought today. So listen, that was so important. That it had to be a workman-like performance, and that's what we got from the girls.
Apart from maybe the concession of the goal at the start of the second half, Tommy, though, I felt, and I was saying in commentary, you were on top of the ground. You just, the movement, everything was done sharp, and like, you could even see, as I said, the girls had a little bit of angst in them. They were determined to make any wrongs that were done last week right today. Yeah,
I suppose the last Saturday, Waterford came up with a game plan, and they played the game on their terms, and we looked back in the match and we saw that. And today we had a game plan and we come up to play the game on our terms. So last week we were chasing Waterford. Today we come up and said we're going to play the game in our terms, and I think that's what we did, and that's how we played the game out. And again, from that, like, it just brings, the girls are working hard, and the energy was in the group, like, by girls turning ball over and hooking and blocking and chasing, and it just gives everyone energy. It gives us energy on the line as well, and that's something that wasn't there last week. So the energy was sucked out of us last week, but it's a small thing like that, like just the work rate and the honesty from the group, and they brought that today, as I said, and that was the difference between last Saturday and today, that we came with a game plan and we played the game the way we wanted to play. We weren't chasing Dublin around or like that. It was played on our terms, and I think that's why we won the match.
Feel the wind here now. That was obviously a factor. You used it well in the first half, and then the second half, there was different players probably stepped up in that second half, then did a different kind of job to ensure you kept Dublin at arm's length. Yeah, and in fairness, the backs came under a bit of pressure in the second half, and in fairness to Caoimhe Dowling stood up, and Laura Murphy and all them, like Tiffy Fitzgerald was very good today as well, like a girl that has so much to offer, and she hasn't been on form the last while, so today she was very, very good. Like, when questions were asked to people, like, they really stood up. And listen, that's what you want in the team. Like, probably last Saturday we didn't have enough leaders on the team because when we were our backs to the wall, but today, when they were, in fairness to the backs, we had people that stood up, and but to go anywhere, like, you have to have people in your team like that, and we had that. And to me, the last point we got, Katie got a point from we were 3 or 4 points up and we were mad for a score, and that's when people stand up, like leadership, and she caught a ball and put it over the bar. Like, that's what you want from your team, like, and that's leadership. So we got plenty of that today. That makes the next 2 weeks probably easy then, and then a mouth-watering clash at home against Galway. Yeah, listen, as I said, like, it's still in our own hands. Probably the win today puts us in a good position, but like, we have to go and try and get a good result against Galway now. So if we do, then, like, we're in the knockout stages, and that's where we want to be, really. Well done, Tommy. Congratulations, and you're on the road again. Fair play to you. We're going to bring in Uachtaráin Brian Malloy and our player of the match as well, so we can just see the presentation done on camera here. So I'll step aside just for the minute as Brian does the presentation to Katie Power. Katie, congratulations. See, the war wounds picked up as well.
Yeah, a few, but sure, look, it's worth it anyway. It was an important match for us, the team, and Kilkenny Camogie after the last day. So just delighted to come up here, whether it was 2 points to 1, as long as we had the points coming home on the table, like, we're happy just to get the win. Yeah. Did you feel as a group you had a point to prove in some way? Yeah, we were wicked disappointed after the last day. We just, regardless of the actual result, we were just disappointed in our own performance. Like, we feel like it wasn't a true reflection of ourselves, and that's not taking anything from Waterford. Like, they were unreal, but we just felt like we didn't do ourselves any favours in terms of what we want to pride ourselves on. But I've said so many times since the start of the year, this is a new team, it's an evolving panel, like, there's so many new girls here, but we want to try set standards for ourselves, and we just weren't happy with the standards the last day. We're lucky we only had a week's turnaround, and coming up to Parnell Park, like, it was just tough. It was helter-skelter there for 65 minutes, so we're just delighted to get the win. Katie, for yourself though, you're so well experienced, so at this stage I'd say if Tommy asked you to whatever role to stand on the stand over there, you probably do it, but you had to do a different role again obviously today than what you've been used to in the last couple of matches. Yeah, look, as you said, I'd play anywhere as long as I'm on the 15 and I'm there to help the girls. all I want to do is play for Kilkenny, and I'm just happy to do whatever the lads ask. And the girls in the backs did an unbelievable job today, and I just tried to help a bit up in the forwards, but some of the forwards were class. Eve Pender shot the lights out. Sophie Holden, first game ever for Kilkenny, scored a couple of points. So yeah, look, whatever the lads want me to do, I'm happy to do it, and as long as I can help and still wear the jersey, I'm happy out.
But in case there's any criticism out there, you probably today feel you've just let people know Kilkenny are not going away.
No, look, as I said, we're a new team, we're evolving. It's an inexperienced panel, but we have our standards set, and we haven't been in the All-Ireland semi-final in 2 years. That's a massive thing for this team. The All-Ireland semi-finals are in Nolan Park. We've never got to play in them, but we're under no illusions. We still have to come out of the group, and that's the biggest challenge for us at the moment. We've one game left, and it's in our own hands. What happens regardless if we come out of the group or not. Delighted with the win. We've 2 weeks now to Galway, and they're a different animal altogether, so we'll just put the heads down and focus and see what we can do in 2 weeks' time.
Congratulations on our player of the match, and the best of luck, Katie. Well done. Congratulations on the win. So there you have it, Katie Power, our player of the match, and you heard from the winning manager also, Tommy Shefflin. Kilkenny back on the road again, getting it back between the tracks, and they come away here with the victory against Dublin. But they were mid-fight all the way, and maybe this Dublin team have still a chance in the championship. Of course, they now take on Waterford and Derry in their remaining games. We have a break next week, and as you heard there, what a game that could promise to be. I presume it's going to be in UPMC Nolan Park, and I'm presuming it might be the game that we will be streaming in a couple of weeks' time, with Kilkenny hosting Galway. That, of course, will decide who potentially would be in a semi-final and who would be held in the quarter-final route. But for the minute, with my thanks to Brian Brophy, to Luca Owen in the background, hopefully you've enjoyed the action. Kilkenny victorious here today. They continue to march on. Dublin, as we said, still have a bit of work to do. Good luck to you.